Good morning, Year 4, and welcome to your maths lesson for Tuesday, the 19th of January. We're going to be doing some more dividing two-digit numbers today with exchanging and with some remainders. So let's get started. And here we are. So we're going to start with our warm-up as usual. I'm thinking of a number. It's a multiple of 6. So that means it's in the 6 times table. Between 50 and 70, the digits add up to 9. What is my number? And then the second one, I'm thinking of a number. It's a multiple of 3 and 4. It is between 30 and 40. What is my number? So if you pause the video here and have a little go, and we'll come back together in a minute. Okay, so these kind of what's my number ones can be quite tricky, can't they? So we need to work out a methodical way of kind of trying to work through and work out what the answer is. So let's look at the first one then. I'm thinking of a number, it's a multiple of 6 between 50 and 70. So I'm going to do, that's my 6 times table. I'm going to be thinking of numbers that I know in the 6 times table between 50 and 70. So I'm going to start with 54 because I know that 6 times 9 is 54. And then the next one after that is 10 times 6, and that's 60. And the next one after that is going to be 66. That's 11 times 6. And then the next one after that is 72. So first thing I can do is strike off 72 because I know it's got to be between 50 and 70, and 72 is more than that. So I'm going to strike that one off. And then I just need to look at the second part of the clue, which is the digits add up to 9. Now I can see straight away that it's not going to be that one because 6 and 0 make 6, obviously, and definitely not 9. And then I can just look at the other two and I can see 6 and 6 add up to 12, so it's not that one. So it's going to be this one, I think, and I'm just going to check that. 5 and 4, does that add up to 9? Yes, it does. So 5 add 4 makes 9. So the answer there is 54. My number is 54. Now down here, I'm thinking of a number. It's a multiple of 3, and it's between 30 and 40. What is my number? So I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to write out my 3 times table, and from 30 to up to 40. So it's 30, 33, 36, 39. And then I'm going to do my 4 times table and do the same thing. So I'm going to say, right, okay, the lowest one I can think of is after 30 is 32. 8 times 4 is 32. And then 9 times 4 is 36. And then 10 times 4 is 40. And I'm going to stop there because that's as far as, obviously, I don't want to go over 40. So then what I can do is I can have a look and I can see which of my numbers comes up in both, because my second clue was it's a multiple of the 3 times table and the 4 times table. So the only number that comes up for both is number 36. So I can see there that my number is 36. Okay, next, I'll just move myself out of the way. Okay, today we're going to be using sharing or bus stop method to solve division problems. So Sophie shares 56 sweets equally between 4 friends. How many sweets does each friend get? So this is like a word problem, isn't it? So we need to use our rucksack to help us. So the first thing we need to do is we need to read the problem. That's what the R stands for, isn't it? So let's read it. It says Sophie. It doesn't matter that it's Sophie, does it, really? So we don't need to highlight her. It does matter that she's sharing. That helps us to know what sort of sum we're doing, and that it's 56. It doesn't really matter what it is that she's sharing. It does also matter that she's sharing equally between 4. Okay, and then the question, how many does each friend get? So there's quite a lot of that, I think, is quite important. And then, so I've done the reading, I've done the underlining and understanding. I'm understanding that I'm sharing these 56 sweets out equally between 4 friends. And part of understanding could also be drawing the bar model, couldn't it? So I could draw there's a bar to represent my 56 sweets and my 4 sections because I'm sharing out between 4. Okay, then the next part is calculation, which is the C, and I know, so I'm doing 56 divided by 4. My bar model sort of shown me that, hasn't it? So that's the calculation that I'm going to be doing, 56 divided by 4. And then I have to actually solve the problem, 56 divided by 4. So I'm going to do 56 divided by 4 now. And once again, I've got my 50, I have my 5 tens and my 6 ones. And here, I can't share that 10 easily because I can't share it equally because it will, I can't put 10 there or there or there because it won't be shared equally. So I need to exchange that 10 for 10 ones, which is what I put up here, and share those out. I've done it like that to try and speed it up a little bit because I was worried that you were all going to have left school by the time I'd finished faffing around with these. It takes a bit of a long time, doesn't it, on here? Much quicker when I've got my trusty pen and I can just do it really fast. Right, and then I've got the rest of these to show it as well. And I'm putting them in roughly the same position in each box so that I can check that I've got the same in each number. Okay, so if I count them, 10 and 4 ones makes 14. Okay, so I think that the answer is, because next I'm on answer, I think that the answer is 14. I'll write it somewhere else and then put it. Oh, it doesn't want to go in there, does it? It doesn't want to behave. I'll write it up here. There we go. So I've answered the question. Each friend gets 14 sweets. And then the last one is C for check. So I'm going to use the bus stop method here to check. And if I'd use the bus stop method, I could use the sharing method to check. So once again, how many groups of 4 can I make out of the 5? I can make 1. And then I've got 1 left over. So I'm going to put it there, because 1 group of 5 and 1 more makes 6. Sorry, 1 group of 4 and 1 more makes 5. And then I'm going to put that 1 there, and then I've got to say how many groups of 4 can I make out of 16. And I know my 4 times table, so I know that 4 times 4 is 16. So I've got my 14 there again, so I've checked my answer. So I've done all my rucksack things. Okay, so the answer is each friend gets 14 sweets, and I'm pretty confident that's right because I've done it 2 different ways. Okay, moving on. If you pause the video in a minute when I've read it, and you can have a go at this, and then we'll come back together. Farmer Jack's hens have laid 72 eggs. He divides them into boxes of 6. How many boxes of eggs are there? So don't get confused by this again. Like I say, this is because we need to do some exchanging. I've put those up there to speed things up. So pause the video, put your 72 up here, share them out, or do your bus stop method, and we'll come back together in a minute. Okay, so I'm just going to put rucksack back up here again to help us to remember what we need to do. So hope you got yourself an answer that seems reasonable. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start sharing out my 10s. So I've got to do, I read my problem, haven't actually underlined it, I'll do that in a second, but hopefully you did that. I understood certainly what sum I had to do. I had to do my 72 and I had to divide them by 6. So now I knew I had to do 72 divided by 6. That was my calculation. So now I'm just solving the problem. Now when I come to this 10, I can't put that in any one of those boxes because it won't be shared equally. So I need to exchange that 10, get rid of it, exchange it for 10 ones and share them out instead, which is what I am doing. I'll tell you a little secret while I'm doing this. This is actually the second time I've done this lesson today because the first one only recorded my face and not the flip chart. So can you imagine how happy I was to see my great big face all over the screen and not the work that you're supposed to be doing? So hopefully it will work this time. Okay, so we've shared them out and now we can see that there is a 10 and 2 ones in every section. So I'm thinking that the answer is going to be 12 to my calculation. So my sum was 72 divided by 6, and I think my answer is going to be 12. So can put 12 in there. And then I'm going to check my answer. Okay, that's the C part of this. So I've read the problem, I understood and underlined, I worked out what calculation I had to do, I solved the calculation, I answered the question, and now I'm going to check that my answer is right. One of the ways I can check is to see if it makes sense. So how many boxes of eggs are there? There are 12 boxes of eggs, so 12 times 6 is 72. So I can use my times table knowledge to work out if that's a sensible answer. Okay, we're going to check using the bus stop method though here. How many groups of 6 can I make out of 7? 1. Then I'd have 1 left. And then I'd put that one there. And how many groups of 6 can I make out of 12? I can make 2. So I've just checked my answer and I've come out with 12 again, so I can be fairly confident that that's the right answer. Let's move on. Another one for you. Same as before, you can pause it. The one thing I would say about this one is it's a little bit tricky. If you look at where I've written the answer in a sentence, she will need however many boxes because, so it's not quite as straightforward as just writing the answer in the box here. See if you can figure out what I mean when you're working this out. Off you go. Okay, hopefully you paused and had a go and now you've got an answer. Again, I'm just going to pop first thing I'm going to do is to read the problem. Pencils are sold in boxes of 8. Okay, so they're in boxes of 8. I'm not going to highlight Mrs. Bright, sorry Mrs. Bright, but it's not really relevant which teacher it is that's doing the ordering, or even if it's a teacher. But it is relevant that she needs to order 90 for her class. How many boxes will she need? And I want to kind of almost super underline how many boxes will she need. Okay, that's a little hint of what we're going to do. So here we go, we've got our 90. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. And I haven't got any ones drawn in there yet. Those are for my exchanging in a minute. So I begin to show now. Like this. And then I get to that last 10 and I can't put him anywhere in one. I can't just put him in one of the boxes. So I exchange it for exchange that 10 for 10 ones, and then I can share those out. And if you remember in yesterday's lesson, I said that it wasn't, if there were remainders, it wasn't always remainder 1. And this is a good example of that because there are 2 leftovers in there, 2 remainders. Okay, so the answer to my question, 90 divided by 8, if I write that down, 90, funny little, okay, the answer to my question is 11 remainder 2. Okay, so it's 11 remainder 2, 11 and 2 left over. Now, that's solving the problem. I've done that. The next thing I have to do is answer the question. Okay, now when I answer the question was how many boxes will she need? It wasn't how many, if she spreads the pencils out into boxes of 8, how many pencils will there be? There wasn't anything about that. It was how many boxes will she need? And if you think about it, if you thought, oh, she needs 11 boxes, and you popped 11 in there, good try, you got the answer right to the calculation, but not the answer to the question. The answer was how many boxes. If she only buys 11 boxes, then 2 of her children are not going to have a pencil. There'll be 2 remaining children without a pencil. So she actually needs to buy 12 boxes. Even though she doesn't need all those pencils, she's going to have some spare ones. But if she only buys 11 boxes, 2 children won't have one. Okay, so it's a bit of a tricky question. So the answer is she will need 12 boxes because if she only orders 11 boxes, 2 children won't have a pencil. Okay, and then the last bit of this is C is check. So I'm going to use bus stop method to check. How many groups of 8 can I make out of 9? I can make 1. And then I've got 1 left again. Again, it's not always 1 left that you have to carry over when you exchange. Anyway, So how many groups of 8 can I make out of 10? And the answer is I can make 2 groups of 8, and I will have 2 left over, because 2 groups of 8 makes, sorry, beg your pardon, it's 1 group of 8. I was just looking at that thinking, what? That's not right. 1 group of 8 out of 10, and I will have 2 left over. So it just shows I was confused by my 12 down here. Right, so I can see I've got the same answer up here, 11 remainder 2 and 11 remainder 2 down here, and it's still the same, isn't it? I still need my 12 boxes, because if I only order 11, I'll have 2 children without a pencil. Okay, so don't get caught out on those ones. They're often ones to do with boxes of eggs and boxes of pencils and things like that. Okay, moving on. There's one more for you to have a go at on your own, and then we'll do it together. So if you pause here and have tried this one. Okay, starting to sound like a parrot today, but I'm going to write rucksack along the top. I think it just helps sometimes to just make sure you do all of the different bits that you need to do. So first of all, we're going to read the problem, and I'm going to do read it first. So it says, Peter shares 61 sweets between 5 friends. Can he share them equally? And now I'm going to underline and to help me to understand the question. So I think it's important the word shares, because it shows me what he's doing and how many he's sharing. And he's sharing them between 5, which is important too. And then can he share them equally? So the answer to this question is actually like a yes or no question, really. They don't even want to know the answer to the sum. You're just simply being asked yes or no, but obviously we have to do the sum to be able to work out the answer to that question. So we read the problem, we underlined and understood the question, and now we've got to work out what calculation we're going to do. So we know we're going to need to do, I can make it work. Divided, I'll make that into a divide in a second, by 5 equals. Okay, so we're going to have to do 61 divided by 5. So that's what I've got down here. I had 6 tens and 1 1 for 61. So I start sharing those out into 5 groups. Something's gone weird with this one. I can't put them underneath on the top there, so I'll put them under here. You have to pretend that they haven't fallen out the bottom there, so they disappear. And then I get to this last 10, and I need to exchange it for 10 ones, because there's only one of those, and I haven't got enough to give everybody another one. So I'll exchange that for 10 ones, and then I can share those out like that. And they've got enough of them all to have another one. Have I got enough? Yes. And I can have another one too. And then look, I've got 1 left over. So if I'm trying to write the answer to my question up here, solving the problem, each one has got, I can see it's got 1 10 and 2 1s, which makes 12. And then we've got 1 left over, so remainder 1. Okay, now the question was, can he share them equally? And the answer is no, he cannot, because he's got 1 left over here. So he can't, he has to share them. And if he gives any one of those this extra one, then that's not equal. So the answer is no, he cannot share them equally, because he's got 1 left. He's got a remainder. Okay, so down here you would say he can't share them equally because he has 1 remainder. And then the last one, the C, is checking our answer. So we do 5, 5s into 6. We can make 1 group of 5 out of 6, and then we'd have 1 left over. Goodness, these are all rather large. And then my 1 left over goes there in the front of the ones. And then how many groups of 5 can I make out of 11? I know I can make 2. And then I would have 1 left. So I can see I've checked my answer using the bus stop method, and if I use the bus stop method first, then I can check my answer using the sharing method. Okay, so I'm going to move on now to your move that over a little bit, to your tasks. So if you've been really confident doing the bus stop method, then I would suggest you start on gold and then move on to platinum if you have time. And the rest of you, I would suggest that you start on silver. If you're doing silver, if you've been doing the sharing method all the way through, you might want to have a go on the last one of silver, question 3. You might want to have a little go with the bus stop method if you haven't tried that yet, because that's quite a nice, straightforward one to do. So that might be worth a try. So the rest of you, you can pause here and do those, and then I will move it on to platinum in a minute. Okay, so some of you have probably done your gold now and are waiting really excitedly for your platinum task. So I'll just move it on to that. I'm not going to read through all of that because I think you can read it yourself. You probably need to take that in yourself and make some notes when you're reading it. Have a try at that. And then that will be the end of your maths lesson. Okay, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.